What is the common neuroscientific perspective of magic mushrooms? One of my favorite contemporary neuroscientists would have to be Dr. Sam Harris, PhD. I'm a big fan of his book on free will. But he also wrote a book titled Waking Up. And in it, he tells a story of as a young man, he took some ayahuasca and was really impressed with the new neural connections it seemed to generate. So impressed that he took a hard pivot to meditation. But that is not unique to Dr. Sam Harris. This was repeated many times during the 60s and 70s. Now, I don't have any evidence on this, but I have a bad memory. Forgive me, I'm neurodivergent. But I think this something similar happened to Alan. Gosh, what was his last name? Watts. Alan Watts. But this is not a unique experience. Many academics who are doing this not to escape, but to really explore new frontiers in a sustainable way that they can take to the masses, after seeing that their minds could change, turn to meditation. Why could that be? Well, the anecdotal evidence that I've been exposed to is simple. Meditation is free, it's easy, it's legal, and it doesn't involve vomiting. Let's, as usual, as is my custom, let's tie this up by exploring a passage from the source text of Al Dzogchen, the total space of Vajrasattva, or Dorje Sempa composed by Prahe Vajra, also known as Garb Dorje. Please chant with me the 19th verse. Through thee on the beautiful thee upon the emanated branches, in the sphere of experience of the whole world, the profound voice of the Buddha arises. So when taken in the overall context of the 55-verse text, the meaning of this becomes clear. There are all kinds of things we can do to alter our experience. We can take ayahuasca, we can play with mantras, we could do all sorts of yogas. But if you're interested in sustainable evolution, the most important thing is to simply embrace the entirety of our experience without modifying it. And this is referring to exchanging active concentration for mere awareness that is vulnerable and passive and visceral, the kind of awareness that is described as rigpa or mindfulness. And then, of course, during each exhalation, we physically relax and mentally release as best we can, not as contrivance, because we are already wired to do that because of our parasympathetic nervous system. So whether you're citing contemporary sources or ancient sources, there are many, many things that can give us different mental experiences, but the most sustainable comes from mindfulness and meditation. I look forward to meditating and chanting with you after approximately 45 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day studying, practicing, and then reverse engineering all the teachings and techniques of each school of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible by the generosity of viewers just like you. So I stayed up ridiculously late last night so that I could adapt and amplify Kenshin Jigme Punsak's text, Diamond Mind's Wish Fulfilling Jewel. I'm on a kick recently of sharing open texts with you. So you've heard me mention many times that Sturgeon's law dictates that 90% of everything is crap, including meditation teachers. Many people, many humans around the world, regardless of what their interests are, tend to be influenced by yang, tend to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And so a lot of these people, in the name of elitism, in the name of fear, will say that certain practices are forbidden, they're only for special people, even though the Buddha taught the opposite, even though in the Mahayana Parinirvana Sutta, the Buddha says, and of course I paraphrase, as he lay dying, that he taught his entire life with an outstretched arm and an open hand, keeping no secrets. But anyway, people less like the Buddha and more like the Buddha's wicked cousin Devadatta are all about fear and elitism and telling people what they can and cannot do. However, there is a minority of Dzogchen lamas who teach quote-unquote open practices and who also teach that these practices are sufficient to complete Buddha's path of enlightenment. And so I really, I don't like the idea of men with big pencils and small penises telling other people what to do and frightening them with fairy tales of hell. So I really like these practices. And so this week we've been practicing with the Ngondro, and we've been practicing with the praises and requests of the 21 Tatas. And now let's play with Diamond Mind's wish-fulfilling jewel. Now, if you've just tuned in, welcome. This is not the typical time of day I live stream, but I was up ridiculously late last night, and so everything's kind of skewed right now. So if this is your first time tuning in, here's the lowdown on the hoedown. Here's my promise to you. Whenever, if at any point at all during this morning's live stream, you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. No, I don't answer questions about trivia. If you ask me a question about how long my Johnson is, I'm just going to point at you and laugh. But if you have a legitimate question about meditation or philosophy or application, I'm your man. Let's dig in. So the formal name of this is Sintamani Wish-Fulfilling Jewel Instruction, a sadhana of the glorious Vajrasattva, a method for purification and accomplishment of both self and others. So let's dig in. We're going to start with our puckered palms and holding our puckered palms overhead. This helps to, this is energy work, also known as Anu Yoga. Together. Nama, from now until I attain the essence of awakening, I take refuge in the sovereign of all lineages and oceanic mandalas, the Guru Vajrasattva with confident faith and devotion. Nama, from now until I attain the essence of awakening, I take refuge in the sovereign of all lineages and oceanic mandalas, the Guru Vajrasattva with confident faith and devotion. Namo, from now until I attain the essence of awakening, I take refuge in the sovereign of all lineages and oceanic mandalas, O Guru Vajrasattva with confident faith and devotion. So now we're going to play with a chant to help us to exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy. I shall persevere physically, verbally, and mentally, and never depart from the path of awakening, so as to bring everyone through all the reaches of space to relief and the stable bliss of enlightenment. I shall persevere physically, verbally, and mentally, and never depart from the path of awakening, so as to bring everyone throughout the reaches of space to belief in the stable bliss of enlightenment. I shall persevere physically, verbally, and mentally, and never depart from the path of awakening, so as to bring everyone throughout the reaches of space to belief in the stable bliss of enlightenment. Tally-ho. So, refuge could be considered a means of generating joyful enthusiasm, the sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path, and generating conventional bodhicitta, also known as wishing love, is a way of exercising the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. We're now going to play with wisdom's dance of impermanence and interdependence. So please place your puckered palms before your heart, or your sternum. Let's chant. So we're going to begin with a verbal recitation of a rhetorical question, and then transfer to a silent and concise version of the same question, divided between our inhalation and our exhalation. What could it look like if all circumstances are lots blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this body or form? So quick like a bunny. So I'm going to do a quick edit because that's how I roll. Let's hit the old insert Aruni. We want an accent for chanting is. What could it feel like if all forms of bodies blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this communication or speech? So let's go back and save and edit. Hit copy and skedaddle over to the right. So let's chant again. What could it feel like if all forms of bodies blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this communication or speech? What could it sound like if all interpersonal speech and what could it sound like if all interpersonal speech blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this mind? What could it be like if all minds blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into a vast empty void? As children, our first bicycle probably came with training wheels attached. Now, these things were clunky, but they helped us to keep from tipping over. This morning's first of many meditations is also clunky. During the inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the 12-syllable phrase, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. And during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. From this point forward, let us place, oopsie, that's, okay, never mind. Let us place our puckered palms before our chest. In front of me amid oceanic clouds of offerings is the throne of white lotus and moon cushion, upon which is Vajrasattva, embodiment of all Buddha lineages. He is brilliant white with the glow of the full moon. He has went, so I should have prefaced this, and so I'll put it in right now. We are going to explore the iconography. Oopsie, I'm just going to write this down to save everyone a trip. Exploring the iconography of the archetype which Sue and let's go over here and drop down to this. Okay, there we go. So we're exploring the iconography of the archetype, which supports the 8 metaphors, whoopsie, of mantra meditation. So let's continue. He is brilliant white with the glow of the full moon. He has one face and holds a Vajrapala in his 2 hands, and is seated cross-legged in full Sambhogakaya attire. Copy. And paste. So Sambhogakaya simply means a bliss body, and it has a lot to do with Buddhist iconography and mythology, whose details we will explore in a few minutes. The light rays of his wisdom radiate through the 10 directions. All of this appears vividly and clearly to my mind. So here's what I'm going to do once again. Let's go over here and hit 24 and italics. Insert. Let's continue. So now we're going to play with supplication of the 4 powers of confession. The Indian prince, the Bengali prince turned Buddhist saint, Sri Janadipankara, who in Tibet was known as Atisha, said the only thing good about karmic negativities is that they can be purified. So we begin with the power of the object of confession, which means, in this case, the archetype diamond mind. Come here, Guru Vajrasattva, please recall your promise. Think of us poor wretched beings and hold us in your compassion. Throughout beginningless time until now we have committed misdeeds and transgressions physically, verbally, and mentally. Paste. And paste. Now we turn to the power of regret. Together, realizing this, we feel as regretful and sorrowful as if we had ingested poison. Because everybody plays the fool, don't we? We openly admit and confess these deeds before you. Power of resolve. In the future, even at the cost of our lives, we will not waste this opportunity by repeating them. Again, we resolve not to waste this opportunity by repeating them. Look lovingly upon us and grant us relief with your tender embrace. For us and all sentient beings, please purify all impairments and breaches of samaya. So this is nice. We're not just praying for ourselves. Our intention includes all beings everywhere. And may we accomplish all common and supreme attainments right now in this very instant. Not after the generation and destruction of 3 universes, but now. This week. This day. This session. So now we're going to remove the first of 2 metaphoric training wheels, shifting our mindfulness and meditation exercises from 12 syllables each down to just 3. As we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite, notice this, and as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. There will be times when it feels like we're getting beat up by our circumstances, by our body, by our relationships, and even by our mind. When this happens, it can be useful to play with labels, not to minimize or indulge or manipulate our experience, but to harness it, to transform the raw, kinetic, crackling energy of our present moment experience into that which turns the dynamo of our meditation, of our metaphoric meditation machine. Those labels pertain to perceptions of appearance, resonance, sensation, flavor, fragrance, and the like, but they also refer to the inner workings of our mind, our emotion, intention, thoughts, memory, and imagination. Now, our job is not to perfectionistically try to optimize, find the perfect label and the perfect timing. Our job is to just play with the present moment experience. Remember, we were born naked, screaming, and covered in filth. Life is messy. So is meditation. Well, something just dawned on me, and that is that I forgot to do something. So, I'm going to have to come back and do that later on. Let's continue. We now turn to the power of antidote, beginning with the mantra's meaning. Together. Om, I invoke the Vajra diamond-like strength of a sattva mind well trained in love and letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. So now we turn to Mantra Mala Yoga. As we chant the mantra, it could feel as if diamond rays were emitting from a thumbnail-sized horizontal six-syllable mantra rosary at our heart, lavishing all minds, communication, bodies, and circumstances with wisdom, love, health, and good fortune centered and spontaneous. Let's bring the mental into the path of love. May all minds of all beings now be as peaceful and wise as our Buddha's mind, symbolized by a one-syllable mantra known as the Sitikle or Bija mantra. So we're taking this loving wish, and we're now going to compress it down to just one line, which we're going to recite silently and mentally as we breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to physically relax as best we can while chanting this six-syllable mantra. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. One moment, if you please. Set copy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. And set paste. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now let us remove the second of two metaphoric training wheels, transitioning from three-syllable exercises to one-syllable exercises. As we inhale, let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and as we exhale, let's silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym for relax. Om Vajrasattva, 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 Om Vajrasattva. So, in transitioning the 10 labels from a 3-syllable paradigm to a 1-syllable paradigm, there's going to be some poetic license. When we explore our physical sensations, we could use the label form. When we explore their emotional counterparts, we could work with the verb feel. When we explore a memory, we could work with the preposition then. And when we explore a fantasy, we could work with the verb dream. So, Anta Yoga Tantras consists of the 7th and 8th folds of the Eightfold Path, mindfulness, and meditation. Let's chant. May all relationships of all beings know be as joyful and loving as a Buddha's communication symbolized by the 6-syllable mantra. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. 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 Let's chant. May all bodies of all beings enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist art of the blissful body of a yidam of lore and archetype of enlightenment. Om Vajra Sarva 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 Om Vajra Sarva. If you've just joined us, welcome aboard. Here's my promise to you, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window, and I'll be delighted to answer your questions for you. In the intro, every time we breathe in, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to notice things, not concentrate upon them, but merely notice them vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. So during each inhalation, we can get out of the way of our own natural mechanisms to perceive by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this. Now, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we're wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. To get out of our own way during each exhalation, it could be helpful to silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Together, let's chant. So we're going to begin by chanting a circumstantially oriented recitation of Wishing Love, the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let's place our hands in the puckered palm position in front of our sternum. May all circumstances of all beings know be as full of safety and good fortune or boon as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vanti. So this last bit here is just a reference to Buddhist mythology. So as we breathe in, we're going to silently and mentally recite a rather concise version of the previous wish, and as we exhale, we're going to physically relax as best we can into the recitation of this 6-syllable mantra. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. So we're going to place the word boon with the word safe, because in a time of, what's it called? Genocide? Yes, safety is important. And of course the rise of fascism. Because no one likes that. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. So boon here is a synonym for good fortune. And when I think about folks, the Palestinians right now, being denied food and water and shelter in the middle of winter by their occupying forces, it makes me wish that all beings everywhere had some good fortune. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva Om Vajra Salva. Going to shift gears now. We've been playing with the mantra meditations of love and then letting go, and now we're going to prepare for the mantra meditations of awareness and letting go. Let's begin by reviewing what is meant by the word emptiness. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation. What's going on here? 2, 3. Let's hit page layouts. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a beautiful cloudless morn, which although compelling to the eye is not graspable to the hand. So we now are going to switch gear from wishing love to rhetorical questions. We're going to begin by chanting a rather lengthy rhetorical question and then silently and mentally recite its condensed counterpart during the next inhalation. How is it that as we inhale our lots of circumstances could appear quite vivid, yet as we relax into our exhalation they could feel as non-graspable as a paradise or vati of light? Om Vajra Sarva, 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 Let's chant. How is it that as we inhale, our bodies or forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as an archetypal yidam of light. Om Vajra Sarva Hum 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 Om Vajra Sarva Hum. So we're not thinking our way to the realization of emptiness. We are relaxing our way to the realization of emptiness by physically relaxing as best we can during the verbal recitation of this 6-syllable mantra. Om Vajra Sarva Hum 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 Om Vajra Sarva Hum. Om Vajra Sarva Hum 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 How is it that as we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a mantra of light. Om Vajra Sarva Hum 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 Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. How is it that as we inhale, we could perceive our functions? How is it that as we inhale, we could perceive our mind's functions quite clearly? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a beach as its irritable humility clay of light. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum, Om Vajra Salva Hum. So what are mind's functions? Well, mind through its ancillary organs sees, hears, feels or sensation, tastes, smells, and the like. Mind also emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Whom I dedicate, take two, whom I hereby dedicate this annual merit, accrue throughout the three times to the welfare of all sentient beings. May each and every one of them swiftly attain the state of Vajrasattva. O may all that appears be released as if it was as non-graspable as an ornament of Kaya, the deity's form. May all sound be released as if it was as non-graspable as mantra, the deity's speech. May all memories and thought be released as if they were as non-graspable as the deity's wisdom mind and... May all be auspicious, excellent, and splendid. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's morning meditation class and group practice. That's an error. I should have said tonight's morning meditation class and group practice. I apologize for that. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.